Hello everybody, it's story time. This is a story about being relentless despite failure. Now one of my mods, my buddy Chewy, right here, came up with the idea of tying my loot drops to the 2018 Twitchcon that we were going to in an effort to thank people for donating to get my mods at Twitchcon. I would send out a loot drop, and that include my standard loot drop, which is a Kismet candy bar and all that other stuff, and some stuff that we would find at TwitchCon or other fun stuff that I would have made that nobody even knew about that were surprises, because I love to surprise people. So we need to go back in time to the 2016 TwitchCon, where people were asking me to have real-life Kiz caps. So I made some Kiz caps, I made even some Kiz cap necklace, and I would go around and hand them out like business cards or just for a fun thing while I was there. I met my very first person who recognized me in real life, just Mackie. I met the wonderful Kira Karelia while I was there. Now, for me to travel alone at that time was very, very difficult. I'd often have to take a break here, close my eyes, and kind of keep my vertigo in check. It was extremely difficult, but also very fun. I learned so much in the different sessions that, man, it really helped me later on when I really decided, okay, this is the thing that I wanted to do. And so I flew home, all excited to get back to broadcasting and take my stream to a whole nother level and keep working toward that partnership. Fast forwarding again to TwitchCon 2017 in Long Beach, I thought, man, I'm going to take these Kiz caps up to a whole nother level. So I got my crack team of helpers to help me out. Sparkle, of course, helping out as she usually does, supervising. She's exhausted. And I also commissioned some handmade little dragons that I was sending out during the year as part of the Kismet loot drops. But I also wanted to have them really on a whole nother level. Just a fun thing to pay back the community. And I spent about 600 hours raising funds to bring my mods to TwitchCon for the first time. It was a lot of fun. And I felt like it was a huge success. So I flew home thinking, man, how can I top this next year? And oh boy, did I get myself into some trouble, including nearly bankrupting myself trying to really step this up. So let's fast forward again to May of 2018. One of the requirements of donating to get my mods at TwitchCon in 2018 was I dress up as the Wasteland Tycoon. So I contacted a friend of mine who does cosplay. She said she was too busy, so she sent me over to Facebook. I went over to Facebook into the cosplay area there and asked if someone could do some cosplay for me. Person agreed, and we went right to it. And I sent them a basic picture of a blue suit, red tie, yellow hat, and also some bags that I wanted to get so I could hand them out as the Kismet loot drop. Well, after months and months of waiting for that to get done, of course, I was busy. I got my crack crew back onto some more Kiz caps. I then got some t-shirts in, but we're still waiting for some more of them to get signed. And I was trying to get into the Intel Streamer Zone again, which was a lot of fun. And of course, raising funds for over 600 hours on stream to bring my mods to TwitchCon. Keep in mind, this is about $6,000 of my time. I also included some new pins. I got a really cool backpack for when I'm walking around TwitchCon. And that brings me to September. My cosplay person wasn't following up. My partner rep from Twitch is not following up. I'm trying to follow up with the people at TwitchCon. I'm coordinating thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff here to go to TwitchCon, and people are just not following up or coming through on what they're saying. Also, suddenly, while getting these bags produced, TwitchCon changes the rules so I can no longer bring these bags into TwitchCon. So that project has to be canceled. And while working on other stuff, September flew by while I was waiting for my cosplay, and guess what? At the beginning of October, the person doing the cosplay contacted me that it wasn't going to be done in time. On the 25th of October is when TwitchCon was. So I had to scramble to get my own cosplay. I had to go into PayPal and get them to refund my money. And this would become the theme of these loot drops for months to come, where people would just not follow up or just drop the ball on me after promising to deliver. I also had hundreds of loot drops to put together, which they also changed the rules again, where I had to change them while I was actually at TwitchCon. I had to have my whole crew help me as well. And of course, I wanted to save some Kismet candy bars and a whole bunch of stuff for donators, so I put them in a box separately so that I could send them out right after TwitchCon. Also, while at TwitchCon 2018, I gave away the Kismet loot drop you see here in the transparent bag, as well as 1,000 free desserts from my sponsor, BJ's Restaurant and Brewery. I stream live from the Intel Streamer Zone, which also went off the rails, but we managed to make it fun. I had the Kismet after party, which was another huge success. We had about 30 to 50 people there. This is the Kismet Love Train in action right here. As well as we got shirts signed for our donators, tons of epic loot that we collected while we were there, as well as I had to ship this back. This cost me a fortune to both ship stuff there and back again, and met some really awesome people in the airport just waiting to fly out. I was out of there once again, back home. Now, after that exhausting and stressful months of trying to put all that together, I'm back home. October's over. We're going into November, and now I want to go ahead and have someone else do these bags for me because I feel like I want to send these out to donators. I also trying to get a new logo, but he says it's going to be 8 to 9 weeks, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll wait for it. This way it'll be awesome. We'll send it out. And of course, I'm not getting any follow-up from anyone. I have to keep contacting them back all the time. I have to actually let the person go who was doing the bags because they just never followed up and they never delivered on anything. Then I tried to hire another person and that fell through. And then, of course, the person who was doing my logo said, sorry, it can't be done. Now, when someone tells me something can't be done, that's the instant I stop working with them because I know it can be done. It just can't be done by them. So remember, at this point, I'm almost at 10 weeks waiting on this logo to put them onto the bags. The bags are still not done. I thought of this great idea that I would help other people on Twitch, but that idea has become an absolute complete failure. Also, I'm still waiting on the t-shirts, and I realized that maybe I have to do these bags myself because I just can't find anyone to get them done. As a lot of you know, I have been a graphic artist for over 25 years. I got this great software called Embroideryware, and I have no clue what I'm doing. I have to learn about sewing and all of that stuff, which I typically don't do. That's the stuff I would normally send out, thousands and thousands of pieces of art to embroidery areas who know how to digitize and who know how to sew. But I believe nothing is impossible. For those of you who have never done embroidery before, it does have a fairly steep learning curve. I did have to do this Kismet High logo over and over again, about 60 to 100 hours to get it to somewhat stitch right. I also broke my first needle, which apparently is a rite of passage if you're a person who sews, as well as did some other samples to try to get an idea of what I wanted it to look like when it came out. I also chose the thread colors that I wanted and a lot of iterations on what I wanted to look like in the end. I also apparently picked the hardest fabric, satin on satin, along with had to learn about backing and doing all of that other stuff that goes along with embroidery. So after hundreds of hours, we're finally ready to sew. Let's get to it. So I load in my pattern. I load the thread and thread it. It's actually funny for me to watch myself thread here as I am just a complete noob. I can barely get it through the loop areas. But later on, I would be so good at this because literally I would thread this machine hundreds of times. Also, for some reason, when it threaded it, I'd have to kind of fix it. Then I press the start button, and off we go. Now, this is a fairly low-end machine, so I'm going to speed this up at 20 times so you don't have to wait for it to sew in real time. But it literally takes about 30 to 45 minutes if I'm on top of it. Since this is only a single needle machine, I have to take out each color and put the next one in each and every time. I'm just going to go ahead and let this run for a little bit at fast speed so you can watch it sew out. Ouch, my first sewing injury from these scissors while cutting the jump lines. Bandaged up and move on. And there we are, finished sewing prototype number 1. Now, one of the problems with this particular one is the fact that it has some puckering. It needs some thicker or better backing. And these are the things you discover when you actually sew. The best way to learn to sew is to sew. My wife also made a sample bag. She actually is the one who sewed the bags together. I just did the embroidery. And my wife pinned them together and sewed them together for me, including the inside lining. And this is literally hundreds of hours worth of work just to get to this very first bag. And then I was ready to ramp up production, and I would go on to change the thread over and over and over while I'm stitching these out with over 300 plus thread changes. Plus, each bag needs the jump lines removed. Hundreds of more hours, months of work put together here. Some of the t-shirts still aren't in. Finally, the t-shirts come in, but now I'm streaming every single day to raise funds for my mods to go to Twitchcon 2019. And eventually, I stitched the very last one, a legendary loot drop. Notice on the side here, I learned about using gauze tape on the side to keep it from puckering as much. And there it is, finished sewing the very last one. This is one of my favorites right here, where it just sewed super clean. It really turned out awesome. Then the arduous task of my wife putting all these bags together. Here's some of the finished bags. Gathering all the loot together, putting all the loot drops together, and just to give you a sense of scale of how much effort and time and work went into each and every one of these loot drops, I'll give you just a small sense of scale. That's right, thousands of hours worth of work, thousands of dollars invested, and of course I always get the question, Kismet, why would you do that? Why would you spend so much time and effort and money on things? Because of moments like this.
Is it a pillow?
Pillow.
All right.
Oh God, no! Oh, the
All right. I love that guy.
rope boy. Oh my goodness! Look at that. Kismet leaf drop. Oh, look at that. That's cute. This is the one. This is the can that they said that can open and close. And there is pictures.
And there's some pictures. Excellent.
Ooh. Whoa! This is the Kismet.
Oh, that is
And
nice.
a Kismet.
That is very cool.
I got a little drag. I got a pink drag. Thank you, Kismet.
Of course, I sent out many other loot drops and got a lot of great responses. From Warwitch here, thank you for the awesome care package. We love it. Have a great time at TwitchCon this year. Lori Ann Tucker saying, I got my loot box today. Thank you so much. So much stuff. You, sir, are awesome. Just Alcara saying, big thank you for the amazing loot drop, and big thanks to your wife for the awesome job on the Kismet loot bag. As a knitter, crocheter, I will likely use it for a project bag. Here's a pic. I will post it in Tycoon's chat in a few days. Don't want to spoil the surprise for others waiting for theirs. And again, I get the question all the time. Why would you do that, Kismet? Why would you spend so much time, effort, and money? I say, why not? I only have so many more minutes in my life. I plan to do kind things for other people because I believe that my job is to facilitate moments of joy. Don't listen to all those negative people in the world telling you things are impossible or it can't be done. It can be done. You're the one who can do it. Go out and challenge yourself to do something amazing for other people. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Hey everybody, Kismet here. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button right in the center of the screen. Also check me out live on twitch.tv/Kismet. I'll see you all next time.